Welcome to the Healthy Nature Show on KHNC 1360 AM on your dial. This is New Genesis Health Green Herbs coming to you every Tuesday at 12:30. I'm Linda, and I'm alone, as I have been for a while. The local number is 303-421-9900, and outside the area, 1-888-765-4372. We are located at 4565 Kipling Street, north of 44th, south of I-70 on the mountainside of Kipling in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. We are a natural health facility with chiropractic and acupuncture and microcurrent with the acupuncture. We have a muscle activation technique therapy with Patrick. We have a far infrared sauna, very, very reasonable, free the first time, $10 thereafter, or $70 a month. Counselors, dietary, herbal, and nutritional supplements. We have the blood analysis, which is a live blood cell analysis, and my favorite microscope here is the bright field, and I do like to use the 10,000 magnification lens, and it just shows you just about all you need to do to see to be healthy, to do what you have to do to be healthy. And so, when we look at that, there's a certain way your blood should look, and if it doesn't, then we need to figure out, and we can see plainly right there what is going wrong. We do formulate and mix and encapsulate our own supplements with no fillers, 0 fillers, and no friction heat with the little, it's not a really big mixer, but it's big enough to do, if you need to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 batches, you just do multiple batches separately. And it's all the same because it's all the same formula time after time after time with, like I said, no fillers whatsoever. We do take a lot of pride in our supplements. They have helped thousands of people throughout the years. And these formulas are much like your grandmother or great-grandmother would have made. My great-grandmother did. And I gained a lot of information from my grandmother years after her mom died. My great-grandma died the very month in April that I was born 77 years ago. And she had 16 children and was an herbologist and raised a lot of her own herbs. They gathered a lot from the woods and from the fields. And there was no doctor in the county, Colquitt County, Georgia, and people came from all over for their healthy herbs to take on a daily basis, and some people came sick. Grandma told me there was a room for the sick people and a room for the well people. And anyway, that's pretty much the way it used to be back in the day. We didn't really start getting these pharmaceuticals until Rockefeller and those guys decided they needed to control everything and be able to say how much of what went in, but you can't really do that with plants. So the strength of the plant and the healing values in the plant would depend on the health of the soil. And herbologists like my grandma that knew what they were doing had really good soil. And my daddy was like that too. He was a farmer. I was raised as a farmer, became a machinist later on. But they had certain ways that they knew how to test the soil. And I can remember standing with Daddy while he did, and it was a great thing. But our food chain has changed so radically that we're in a place now. Back when I was growing up and the years thereafter, pretty much you could eat healthy. And, nobody took supplements that I knew of unless you were pregnant, and then you took the vitamins and minerals for that, and that was about it. And then when your baby was a little tiny baby, there were some drops. There was one called Travisol, which was A, B, and C. And, those were the kinds of things, and then you just ate right. Everybody knew back then to eat right. And, those kids that I'm talking about that I had back in that day are almost 60 now. Well, they're in their very late 50s. And so what you need to remember is this food chain has just gone down, down, down since then. Most of the people that come in here to see us already know that. Most people know that, you should go to a store where you can get organics. You should buy the freshest possible raw, fresh things, or the flash frozen on site, you know that you need to be careful of the meat that you purchase, and the poultry. Anything that you purchase should be with thought in mind of what's the healthiest thing I can do here, not necessarily the cheapest. I know back when I was a kid and we were needing to go cheap, or we hadn't been fishing, or Daddy hadn't been hunting, and there was not a beef butchered, and there was a lot of times we just had beans. Mama would put a ham hock in it. Back then, those things were a lot safer too. But we'd have all kinds of dried beans with cornbread, tomatoes, and different side dishes. A lot of times cabbage, slaw. But there's a way that we used to eat, and there's a way that we do not eat now. I don't think that you can go through a drive-through at a fast food restaurant and pick up good nutrition. Well, there may be one. I know there's one that advertises that it's the good healthy meat, and the chicken's raised without antibiotics and that. I'm not sure if I can say which one that is, but if you call me, I'll tell you. But also, if you've got questions about anything, dietarily, it seems confusing to some people when they've just gotten in a habit of maybe following what their parents did. And we're in a time that we can't afford to do that. We've got to get our immune systems up. They're talking about, there's some facts about this so-called pandemic that I just can't go along with. But I do know that there are some people that get this virus and die. I also do know that every single year, 60 to 80,000 people die in the U.S. from the ordinary flu. I know that people eat wrong. They don't wash their hands normally. And, if you come here, I'm going to talk to you like your mama might have, or your grandmother. I'm going to try to help you learn or remember. Most people say, I remember that. A lot of people remember when their grandmothers would drink lemon juice in the morning. And, so all those kinds of things, we used to know that we had to drink water. Now people drink a lot of soda pop and coffee and tea and anything else they can get their hands on. They're avoiding water. But there's nothing any more satisfying than good well water, or water with minerals in it from the spring. Anyway, we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Healthy Nature Show on KHNC 1360 AM on your dial. This is still New Genesis Health Green Herb coming to you every Tuesday at 12:30. We're only on for half an hour now. This is Linda, and we're located at 4565 Kipling Street, north of 44th, south of I-70 on the mountainside of Kipling. The local number 303-421-9900, and outside the area, toll-free 1-888-765-4372. And we're a natural health facility with chiropractic, acupuncture, muscle activation therapy, far-infrared sauna, counselors, dietary and herbal nutritional supplements, and the live blood cell analysis is really very popular, and it does give you a ton of information. So at the break, I was going over dietary information, and I've got a lot of negative and a lot of positive information on that, but when you come in to see me, I give you a candida diet and talk to you in depth about it. And some people have food allergies, and I have to focus on what they already know about themselves, and we just make it tailored to you. So call in and come in and get your blood tested and see where you stand. I think it's a good time on this earth for us to know where we stand, to be able to face whatever is coming. So trying to get you to stay healthy. One thing that I really like is, and this, you can go too far with this, but this is chia seeds, better than coffee or Red Bull. They're dubbed the 10,000-year-old Red Bull, and what it is really powerful energy. And there's a tribe of Indians, the Tarahumara, Indians that are ultra-distance runners, and their main fuel while they're racing up to now it says 200 miles a day, but that's hard for me to imagine without rest or injury. A tablespoon of chia, they say, is like a smoothie made from salmon, spinach, human growth hormone. And there's an expert, if you want to look him up, his name is Christopher McDougall, and the author of Born to Run. But if you had to pick a food where you couldn't get any other food, like you were on a deserted island somewhere or lost in the woods, best thing you could do would be have a pouch or a little bag of chia seeds. I do know that it does have one side as a mood elevator, blood sugar balancer, lots of vitamins and minerals in it, especially minerals, and besides the energy, and it helps move your bowels better. So if you're, having a little trouble with bowels that don't move, 2 or 3 times a day, minimum 2, should be 3, then a tablespoon of chia seeds every day. If you're small and you're afraid to try anything big like that too quick, just do a teaspoon and see how it works for you. But start somewhere, and that's just one thing that you can do. Another thing is, I lightly touched on it earlier, the juice of a whole lemon in a cup of warm water as soon as you get up in the morning. Now, don't go waiting around drinking your coffee and doing all that. Just get up and drink it and wait around a little bit. You'll still want your coffee or your hot tea or whatever it is. Hopefully that's all you would choose in the morning, not a soda pop or something. But then eat your breakfast and have your chia seeds. You can have them as a supplement with your breakfast. And I suggest a fatty, proteiny breakfast, something to get your fuel burning started first thing in the morning. If you get up and have carbohydrates, it's not going to be good for you. It's going to bog you down for the entire rest of your day. And if you do that every day, you're going to gain weight and feel sluggish. So get up in the morning and have, my favorite breakfast is I've got several, but one of my favorites is just steak and eggs. That just fuels me for the day, and then I'll have a cup of coffee with that, and occasionally chia seeds. I have been known to overdo chia seeds because they make me feel good, and then I go too far, and then it's going to give me too many runs to the bathroom. But also I wanted to mention, I'm just kind of going with some things here today that I'd like to get over to, the facts over to you, is remember, don't do monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate is so adverse to us. It kills brain cells. There's so many things that are have MSG in them as well, but then there's some that are just outright MSG. But if it interrupts your brain cell activity, it also is hard on your digestion. It's hard on your cardiac system. There's a lot of negative information out there about MSG, and I won't go into all of it right now because I want to hit some more things. But there's so many things that we've got to read those labels, and sometimes they call it hydrolyzed protein, or they'll call it a lot of different things. It's the first ingredient in bouillon and broth, unless you're very careful and buy the right kind. So it can be just called natural flavor. Now, there's one that may contain MSG that is maltodextrin, and maltodextrin is appearing on a lot of food products, even skin products, and even supplements, and it's got a 110 glycemic index, whereas sugar, actually table sugar from cane or beet or whatever, has a 65 glycemic index. So you can see if you find that in a sugar-free item, you're just going to get more sugar than you would have. And I object to them treating us like that. I never used to know that information. I had to find it out on my own. And so that's just little information there I wanted to share. So I found that originally, or a whole list about it, in Dr. Blaylock's book called Excitotoxins, The Taste That Kills. And he says it's in the same classification as an excitotoxin that excites brain cells to death as aspartame. And most of you wouldn't touch aspartame with a 10-foot pole. So you got to be really careful about MSG as well, and in any form. That's another one thing that would be in your package when you come in to visit. And then talking about killing brain cells, in Dr. Blaylock's book is Russell Blaylock, and he's a neurosurgeon actually. So it's cytotoxins, the taste that kills. Be right back for the last little bit. Welcome back to the last little bit of the Healthy Nature Show today. It just seems like it goes so fast, people. Come in and, make an appointment. I'll sit with you for at least an hour, do your blood workup, look at your profile, your information that you give to me when you fill out your form. It's confidential. We'll sit there with the door shut or cracked if you want. But I want to speak just a little bit more to brain health because I wanted to talk about if you get a hold of MSG, a lot of times you do get it eating out, and a lot of people have been ordering in this phase of life that we're in right now. Be very careful not to use accent because that is monosodium glutamate, and it's a flavor enhancer. So you need to remember that that's what that is. But if you get that and you start feeling, if I get it, I actually feel glazed over, like my brain doesn't want to work properly. No energy or anything. So the product we have here that will fight that off, and always, if we eat out, it doesn't matter if I think the food is good and they swore they didn't have MSG, I always take the Vas-Q-Lar Clear. And that Vas-Q-Lar Clear is actually the first ingredient. Burdock root works really, really well for clearing out any kind of toxins. It could be just inhaled fumes from something bad, or a medication that you're trying to flush through from a surgery. It could be a spider bite or a bee sting. But burdock root actually does have the ability, and formulated the way ours is, to flush bad things out of your system. I know that when my brother was bitten by a brown recluse spider, the hospital put him in a hyperbaric chamber for 100 minutes a day, and we got there the same day he was bitten, and I gave him loads of Vas-Q-Lar Clear. We were on a trip all the way over to the East Coast already, and we went straight to the hospital, and I left my Vas-Q-Lar Clear with him. He took the whole thing, and he didn't lose it. They were thinking he'd lose his arm or his hand. He just lost a little dime piece of flesh, not very deep, and I attribute that to the hyperbaric chamber as well as the blood detox. And we are getting a hyperbaric chamber here at New Genesis South Green Herb soon. But I want to talk to you, too. If you feel that brain fog, that almost like you're sick after you've eaten somewhere, another thing that I like to take is the brain power. And it's just very, very simple. It's an Ayurvedic formulation. It's bacopa extract, schizandra extract, and ashwagandha extract. And, we were already taking the mental boost with the amino acids in it. It makes me feel really bright and have an edge all day. But my husband had a concern about getting Alzheimer's because both of his parents had suffered from that. But they ate sugar every day of their life as long as they could get it, pounds of it. And they would try to fool me, but I always found out. But I didn't say anything. I just loved them through it and gave them herbs. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to fight. But anyway, so the brain power I came up with after he expressed some grave concerns about he didn't want to go down that road. And so several years ago, I developed the brain power, did a lot of study, and it's a simple formula. And he takes it with his mental boost. Well, we are out of mental boost right now, but the brain power is wonderful, and we're continuing to take that. He said it didn't work so fast as the mental boost because you can feel that, in 30 minutes. But the brain power, it builds up in your system. So just a few days and you just start feeling brighter. And it is the one that I'm taking at this time because I just feel that I need it so much. Works really well for me. I hear the music coming up. I've talked and talked. You guys are the salt of the earth. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep us in your prayers, please. We do appreciate your prayers. Thank you very much, and God bless each one of you. You're the salt of the earth. God bless you.